Howdy YouTube family, it's Bolt CRNA coming to you again with another day's topic. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about how do you prepare for CRNA school. I get this question from a lot of you guys, and I can see that a lot of you are in high school or in college or nursing school, and you're looking forward to CRNA school and you're trying to figure out ways that you can get yourself better prepared before it starts. And so I figured we'd get into that today. All right, the first thing that I would point you guys to is my video that I made about a year and a half ago called the 5 Simple Steps for Getting into CRNA School. That is a really good guide for people who are interested in getting on their path. But as far as how you could maybe get an edge before the curriculum in CRNA school and not necessarily how you can get into CRNA school, if that's your question, then we can talk a little bit more about that. I know that you want kind of a simple answer of like read this book and this book and this book, and therefore when you start CRNA school you're going to be way ahead of the game and you're going to be, scoring easier in the classes, and you're going to be able to handle the academic load much easier, and you're going to be top of the class. And all of us kind of want that. That's what we all go into CRNA school trying to be. But sadly, there is no magic answer, and there's no magic book you can read that's going to explain all these things to you, that's going to help you step into CRNA school and be ahead of the game. The one book that I can actually recommend that you buy in advance and read up on is Guyton's Physiology. I don't care what edition you get, any of the more recent ones, but try and get one of the ones. You can go on Amazon.com and get it for fairly cheap, I think 30 or 40 bucks. One of the older editions. There won't be that much different from the current most recent edition they have out now. But anyway, that book is going to be a foundational book when your first semester or two of CRNA school, where you go through all of the anatomy and physiology that you learned in undergrad, and you're going to go a lot deeper on it, and it's like medical school A&P. So you're learning pathophysiology, and you're learning like microcellular physiology and all the channels and the distal tubule of the renal system, and all the ion changes and which ones open a certain number of molecules flow through, and if it's on the basolateral side, and you understand more of the in-depth idea of everything that's going on in the body, and how this part of the heart then affects the thing in the GI tract, and then this happens here. So you learn it on a much deeper level. It's very difficult. It's a lot of difficult information for people who just start the program to learn. And I think because of your background in nursing school and through A&P in undergrad, it gives you a good foundational knowledge that you could get that book and you could start reading it, and you could start trying to expound your knowledge on that before you started the program. Another way that you could benefit yourself before you start the program is, while you're still in ICU practice, start going through your day and looking at like the medications that you're giving and the treatments that you're doing, the machines that you're working on your patients, the ventilators especially, and start asking questions about like, how is this PEEP going to work on this patient, and why does it change my blood pressure sometimes if I increase the PEEP beyond this certain level, and start investigating why certain treatment methods are doing what they're doing, and just kind of get a deeper understanding and knowledge. Some ICU nurses are really good about knowing the why behind what they're doing, and then some others kind of just go about the motion of doing it because they know that's the policy, and when this happens you then give this, and they don't necessarily know all of the in-depth reasoning behind what they're doing. So if you're going to CRNA school, you want to go ahead and start understanding the in-depth why behind the how, and start thinking of it like, if there was no physician here and I needed to figure out how to do this on my own, and what I would do and what I would prescribe and what I would handle in this critical situation, you need to start thinking of it from that mindset. And so start trying to understand what the provider is thinking when he's ordering these, or she's ordering these things, and using these new treatment methods. Try and understand more in depth on it. Another thing that will help you out a lot is review your pharmacology. I know we do a lot of pharmacology in nursing school, but then we get out into practice and honestly we forget a lot of it, because in the actual nursing clinical practice, your job is to manage a million juggling things all day long, and you don't have the time to in-depth study every medicine that you're giving and all of the different, minor details about all those medicines. go back and start reviewing those things again. Start studying your ACE inhibitors and how they're working in the system and in the body, and start understanding the common reactions, the side effects of certain antibiotics, and start looking back up peptidoglycan walls and why certain antibiotics, gram positive and gram negative, focuses on the antibiotics, why they work, and which ones are, nephrotoxic, and a lot of that kind of stuff. If you just go back and review some of your basic pharmacology, that'll help you out. So when you start the program, you kind of have a foundation to start building on again, and you're not from scratch saying, I knew I learned about this in school and undergrad, and I don't remember it. So my final tip for what you could do is shadow in the OR and just kind of follow some CRNAs around and just kind of pick their brain. Just talk to them a little bit about what they like about their jobs and what their most difficult parts of their jobs are, and just observe them. Watch what they're doing, watch how they're thinking, watch when certain vital signs change and certain things on the machines or the patients change, they go and grab a certain med. Just kind of get familiar with like the flow of things, and try and look at the anesthesia machine, and you're not going to understand it, and don't try to go in there and just figure out the anesthesia machine. But it helps if you've seen it a few times before, and you've seen the anesthesia provider, whether it be an MDA or CRNA, is adjusting a certain volatile anesthetic, and you might ask them, why did you use that one? Well, they may just tell you because desflurane gets on the patient faster. Well, that's not the full in-depth answer for it, but that's all you need to know for your entry-level knowledge that you're going to start at. But that helps. So when you start in CRNA school and they say the word desflurane in class for the first time, you're not totally caught off guard by that word. So just by shadowing some CRNAs and seeing how anesthesia is done, that can help you get at least a little comfortable with some of the words and some of the machines and some of the devices that we use. As far as like what book I would tell you to buy for like learning real anesthesia knowledge, I wouldn't do that at this point. If you've not started the program yet, anesthesia is not something that you can just read a book on and just understand. Anesthesia is like an art and a science together. It's a lot of there is no certain recipe for how you provide anesthesia, and there are a lot of things that anesthesia people do that are still like being studied, and certain people that's controversial, like defasciculating doses when you give succinylcholine. There's a lot of stuff that some people will do and then other people won't do, and you'll find when you're in the program, your teachers will tell you this is what the textbook says. 50% of the people don't do this, they do this instead, this research shows this. So anesthesia is very confusing, because as soon as you read something in a book that says this is the way it's done, you find out in practice it's done differently. And it's also complicated. It's like one thing you're going to do will then affect 3 other different things, and you need someone who knows anesthesia, who's teaching you, like in classroom, who's teaching you and helping you understand why you're doing what you're doing. So if you read up on anesthesia, it probably is not going to be very high yield for you. You're probably not going to understand a lot of what it's talking about, and what you do think that you understand, you may get into the program and realize you've learned it incorrectly, and now you're actually like trying to unlearn something that you thought you memorized from a book that you didn't understand. So that's why I just tell people don't bother learning that stuff yet. You're just going to have to learn that as you're in the program. There's no way to make CRNA school easier, really. You can give yourself a little bit of a leg up by studying the physiology and kind of being a little prepared in that sense. But overall, the anesthesia stuff, you're just going to have to learn it when you get there. Well, all right, guys, that's my couple tips for you guys. This is a quick video here. I've been doing some more Instagram, Insta Live, whatever videos that they have where you can upload little snippets of your day. I'm trying to do that a little bit more so that people can see what maybe I'm doing in the OR, and of course anything that I upload has no HIPAA violations in it, and it can't involve anything that has patients in the room or patient data or anything like that. So I have to be very careful what I upload, but it does kind of give you a couple little bits and pictures of what it's like being in CRNA school and what some of my clinical days are like, and the physician's lounge or lunch that I'm eating and things like that. Just anecdotal, little things, side things that nobody really talks about with anesthesia, but it's part of your life. So I'm doing that more often. If you guys want me to do more of that, reach out to me, let me know. You can follow me on Instagram. My name is Bolt SRNA, the same as my YouTube channel, on Instagram as well, and Twitter as well. I don't put as much on Twitter, but I use Instagram fairly often with the daily videos. As far as school's going, I just started back my spring semester, and I'm in my 3rd rotation right now. It's going well. It's my first week there. Last week was my first week, so it's all still very new, learning the new environment. It's my 3rd hospital I've gone to and learned the OR is slightly different, and the way they practice is slightly different, and the way the anesthesia practice team is there is a little bit different. It's just part of it. It's a learning process every time you go to a new hospital. And I'm about to go on a mission trip to the Dominican Republic. And it's going to be a medical mission trip for the CRNA program that I'm attending. And hopefully we're going to be able to go out there and reach people who are in this 3rd world country who can't afford healthcare, and provide a service for them that what maybe will change their life and be something positive to them that they wouldn't have had otherwise. So I look forward to doing that. And hopefully when I get back, I can give you guys an update, and I might even shoot some videos while I'm there and kind of vlog through it. If you guys think that would be interesting to see kind of like what it's like over there on a medical mission trip, I might be able to do that. So just shoot me up in the comments below, let me know, and that's Bolt out.